Hello and welcome to longevitypost.com with Bob and Brian. Today we are talking about the Colonia Cava and its relation to not only overall health but specifically hair loss. So Brian, why do you think we should use Colonia Cava for treating different types of hair loss?
Well, first of all, it does help naturally attenuate or reduce the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, which is known to catalyze testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. This is not the whole picture, but it is certainly one of the aspects of how it helps.
Okay, interesting, because when I briefly researched Colonia Cava, I got the feeling that it might actually help reducing inflammation.
Right, reducing inflammation, that would be true. Inflammation is absolutely associated with hair loss. Not all, but most forms. And Ecolonia cava assists in this aspect by inhibiting an enzyme called matrix metoproteinase 9. When this happens, this plays a significant role in chronic inflammation because when there is an increase in the expression of this enzyme, let's call it MMP9 for short, this causes caspases which are involved in apoptosis or programmed cell death in the hair follicle itself.
Many times when we talk about inflammation, there's almost always a connection to free radicals, right?
That is absolutely right, Bob. You're dead on correct. In fact, I should really say that there's a relationship between inflammation and free radicals. You could say that inflammation causes free radicals, and you could say that mitigating free radicals is going to mitigate inflammation to an extent. That would be true. When cells are under constant attack from free radicals that cause increased oxidative stress and make those cells lose their ability to function optimally, oxidative stress is not only the cause but the result of the inflammation, and it's crucial to utilize powerful antioxidants that target these.
But on the market, there are many supplements with antioxidating properties. Is there any difference between Ecolonia cava and all the rest?
That's a really good question, Bob. There really is. In fact, let me get into more specifics on this one. When you think of most of the antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, let's say green tea extract, just to name a few, most of these, well, let's talk about vitamin C and green tea. They are water-soluble antioxidants, so they're going to scavenge just water-soluble tissue. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant. It's going to target just the fat-soluble store. What makes Ecolonia cava unique is not just its ability to scavenge both water and fat soluble, but it also has a very long half-life. So let's get into that. Green tea may last in your blood for 30 minutes. Vitamin C maybe for 30 minutes. Ecolonia cava, being 60% water soluble and 40% fat soluble, is going to literally be in your serum, your blood, for about 12 to 14 hours. So taking one capsule twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, that's going to give you 24-hour protection at least. So that's literally 24 times the antioxidant half-life of, say, a typical land-based antioxidant substance.
Do you know if Ecolonia cava has any relation to the health of the gut?
Yeah, more and more researchers are really looking at this whole thing called the microbiota, which is essentially your second brain, and it really institutes your overall immunity. And there's so many processes that are important and implicit to health. So Ecolonia cava does have a very powerful bactericidal activity. That means that it destroys pathogens or unhealthy microbes. So what it really allows is for proper microflora, your indigenous healthy microflora, your good germs, to flourish while obliterating the unbalanced microbial activity.
When I briefly researched Ecolonia cava prior to this episode, I noticed that it's being used to treat erectile dysfunction and so on. So I'm thinking nitric oxide, blood flow. What is your comment?
That's a really good point you raised, Bob. Yeah, I mean, Ecolonia cava does, definitely does enhance this thing called nitric oxide, which is a short-term chemical gas, and that allows the blood flow to be engorged in certain tissues, and also, relaxes the vascular terrain so that, there's less constriction, and you're going to have, free-flowing blood and oxygen. What makes Ecolonia cava unique in this respect is unlike other nitric oxide enhancers, this does not increase something called peroxynitrate. Peroxynitrate is a dark side of nitric oxide production or formation. Some people may have an inflammatory effect from peroxynitrate, which in fact, by the way, does increase hair loss. So what you want is something that not only generates nitric oxide, but also inhibits peroxynitrate at the same time. This is what Ecolonia cava does. And there are certain people with mast cell diseases or other problems that may suffer more inflammation from enhancing their nitric oxide. So this really gives you the best of benefits, really.
Wow, Echinacea sounds really, really powerful. Anything else you want to mention about this algae?
I should mention that there is a substance that we have in our body when we're really young, and it starts to diminish with age. And at the same time, you have this very negative substance that's called fibrin. Doctors will measure it as fibrinogen level, and as your fibrinogen level increases, your level in turn of fibrin also increases. Fibrin is sort of pre-collagen or scar tissue that's ready to form. You know, think of clots forming. The more fibrin you have, the more clots that are formed, the more blood flow impedes, and your blood viscosity, the thickness of your blood, also increases. This promotes the formation, of various diseases that, affect the vascular terrain. Think of atherosclerosis, or just, very sledged or slow moving blood and oxygen. That's going to affect your nutrient flow, everything. The polyphenols in Ecolonia cava, they've been reported in a lot of studies that promote what's called plasmin activity. And a crucial fibrin resolving enzyme is what plasmin is. So plasmin literally dissolves a fibrin. And as a result, Ecolonia cava improves the overall condition, viscosity, and the blood flow. This gives you a lot better circulation. At the same time, starts to kind of clear out the potential scar tissue before it literally fully matures and forms.
Does it help with cortisol and stress as well?
Yeah, actually, that's right, Bob. I'm glad you mentioned that. Cortisol, of course, is known as the stress hormone. So as you're under a deluge of stress, you're going to have things like cortisol, otherwise, measured as corticotropin releasing hormone, corticotropin releasing factor. So when the hypothalamus is affected by stress, you've got these generating, and this has an absolutely detrimental effect on hair, especially if it's chronic. So what Ecolonia cava does in this respect is it lowers cortisol. At the same time, it also increases alpha waves in the brain, which are going to allow you to relax. And I should mention some other benefits. Ecolonia cava actually increases IGF-1 or detectable levels of growth hormone. And sometimes when people are under stress or their sugar starts to have difficulties with metabolization, whatever, there's all kinds of things that start to get hit. So insulin growth factor 1 is one of them, and if you don't have enough of that going on, you're not going to grow any hair. So Ecolonia cava in turn also promotes that as well.
Well, in my ears, it sounds like Ecolonia cava offers something for almost everyone.
Yeah, I would say it does. It really is a universal supplement, just for general health. Even if you're not interested in growing your hair, it's excellent for just general health as well.
And this is, of course, taken daily. In what kind of dosage?
Oh, great question, Bob. Yeah, typically one time, twice a day, morning and evening is good. A lot of people wonder, would I get more benefit if I take more? The answer is sometimes yes, because if you have a chronic low-grade infection or inflammation, maybe you have fibromyalgia, maybe you have something else, you might have higher levels of inflammation. So really, it might be up to you to decide, but I would suggest for most people just one in the morning, one in the evening. Other people might decide to take more.
Do you recommend any specific Ecolonia cava supplement?
Well, of course, I could say, I do produce a brand of Ecolonia cava myself. However, you can always do your due diligence. My only advice, whether you buy it from me or somebody else, is to get a purified form, something that doesn't have excess of cornstarch or fillers. If you're eager to get healthier but are
fed up with non-holistic pharmaceutical-based one-size-fits-all approach, simply subscribe to our channel and let's prioritize longevity together. Free of charge, full of longevity.
Also, you can help us out a lot by pressing the like button for this video. Thanks and have a great now.